Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Your body is a terrible liar. Right now, somewhere in your life, there's someone sending you signals so loud, so clear, so psychologically loaded, and you're probably missing every single one of them. Not because you're not smart, but because nobody taught you how to read the silent language of attraction. We spend so much mental energy asking ourselves, is this just friendship? Is this flirting? Am I reading too much into this? And that uncertainty is paralyzing. It keeps us frozen in almost saying something, almost making a move, almost finding out. So today, we're going to fix that. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down 7 psychological signals that scream, "I like you." Signals that happen before a single word is spoken. Signals your brain produces without your permission. Signals that even the most guarded person cannot fully suppress. This is behavioral psychology. This is neuroscience. And this is going to change the way you read every room you walk into. Let's go. Signal 1. The body compass. Before someone says a single word to you, their body is already having a full conversation. Here's what most people miss. We unconsciously orient our bodies toward what we desire. This is called postural alignment, and evolutionary psychologists have studied it for decades. The logic is ancient. Our chest and stomach are our most vulnerable zones. They protect our vital organs. Our feet point instinctively toward what we want to move toward, or what we feel safe with. So, here's your first experiment. Next time you're in a group setting, stop watching people's faces for a second. Watch their feet. Watch their torso. Is this person engaged in a conversation with someone else, but their body, their chest, their hips, their feet are angled toward you? That's not a coincidence. That's a biological declaration. Their words are going one direction, but their body is going to you. And it goes deeper. Watch for these 3 microsignals. First, the head tilt. When someone tilts their head slightly while listening to you, they're exposing the side of their neck, one of the most vulnerable parts of the human body. In primal terms, this means, I trust you. I'm not threatened by you. I'm open to you. Second, open palms. When someone gestures with their palms facing upward or outward, or exposes the inside of their wrists while talking, they're showing you their softest, most unguarded surface. It's a submission signal, but in the most intimate sense. It means I have nothing to hide from you. Third, physical lean. Not dramatic, not obvious. Just a slight, almost imperceptible lean toward you when you speak. This person is literally trying to close the distance between you. None of these are conscious decisions. That's what makes them so reliable. Their logic brain is trying to act normal. Their body is already confessing. Signal 2. The eyes don't lie. They literally cannot. Let's talk about one of the most studied phenomena in the psychology of attraction: eye contact. A Harvard psychologist named S. Rubin conducted a landmark study on how people look at each other. His findings were striking. In normal social interactions, colleagues, casual friends, acquaintances, we maintain eye contact about 30 to 60% of the time. That's the comfortable, polite baseline. But when there's romantic interest, when there are real feelings involved, that number jumps to 75% or more. That doesn't sound like much of a gap until you actually experience it. Because there's a qualitative difference between normal eye contact and attraction eye contact. Normal eye contact listens. Attraction eye contact absorbs. It doesn't just watch you talk. It studies you. It lingers. It holds on just a beat longer than social norms would suggest. You've felt it before. That moment when someone's gaze stays on you just a second past the point where you expected them to look away. And your stomach does something weird. That's not your imagination. That's your nervous system recognizing a signal your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet. There's also a biological component you can actually observe if you pay attention: pupil dilation. When the brain experiences attraction or excitement, the pupils expand to take in more visual information. This happens involuntarily. You cannot fake it. You cannot control it. If you're close enough to notice, and their pupils are wide and dark, your presence is activating something in their nervous system. And if you catch someone doing what researchers call a triangle gaze, bouncing their look from your left eye to your right eye, to your mouth and back, that's not a nervous habit. That's the attraction blueprint. The brain is mapping the face of someone it's interested in. Signal 3. The VIP treatment. Think about the most precious resource you have in 2024. Not money, not energy, time and attention. Because here's the thing about time. We give it to what matters to us. We protect it from what doesn't. And when someone consistently bends their schedule, interrupts their routine, or creates space in their day specifically for you, they are telling you something that no words could say more clearly. Watch for the response pattern. Does this person take hours to reply in the group chat, but respond to your messages in minutes? That's not better phone service. That's dopamine. When your name appears on their screen, their brain releases a hit of dopamine, the same chemical associated with reward and craving. They respond fast because waiting feels uncomfortable, because talking to you feels good, and they want that feeling immediately. Watch for the check-in message. This one is subtle, but it's powerful. After spending time together, do they send something like, "Did you get home okay?" Or, "That was really fun. We should do it again." These aren't filler texts. These are extensions of the experience. This person doesn't want the connection to end. They're keeping the thread alive because cutting it off feels like a small loss. And watch for the time creation. Not time they already had free, time they made. Rearranging plans. Staying longer than they said they would. Showing up when they didn't have to. These are behavioral declarations. When someone does this consistently for you, and not equally for everyone else, you are not just a friend. You are a priority. Signal 4. The social kidnapping. This one is one of my favorites because it's so clever, and most people never even notice it happening to them. Have you ever been in a group situation when, seemingly out of nowhere, this person creates a reason for just the two of you to break away? "Hey, come with me to grab drinks real quick. I have to check something in the car. Want to come? Can you help me with something for a second?" These moments feel casual, spontaneous, random even. They are none of those things. Psychologists call this manufactured intimacy, the deliberate creation of private space within a public context. The group isn't annoying them exactly, but the group is in the way. Because every meaningful glance, every moment of real chemistry, every almost touch gets diluted when there are 5 other people watching. So they engineer a solution. They create a micro-bubble, just the two of you, even for 5 minutes, without an audience. Pay attention to how they act in these stolen moments versus when you're with others. Is there a shift? Do they become more relaxed, more themselves, more direct? Do conversations go deeper faster? That shift is the point. They're testing the one-on-one dynamic. They want to know if the connection works when the social performance drops away. If this is happening regularly, it isn't coincidence, it's strategy. Unconscious strategy, maybe, but strategy nonetheless. Signal 5. The Sherlock Complex. Here's a question for you. Think back on the last few months of interacting with this person. Have they ever remembered something you said that felt completely throwaway? Something you mentioned in passing that you yourself forgot about 3 minutes after saying it? The name of your childhood dog. The specific reason you stopped eating a certain food. A random opinion you shared once about a movie. Something small. Something seemingly unimportant. And they just brought it up. Naturally. As if they'd kept it filed away. Because they did. When the brain is romantically interested in someone, it unconsciously switches into archiving mode. Every piece of information you share gets tagged as potentially important. Your preferences, your history, your fears, your sense of humor. It all goes into a mental folder labeled, "Understand this person." Not out of obsession, but out of genuine, deep curiosity. This is sometimes called hyper-attentiveness, and it's one of the clearest markers of real interest because it cannot be faked over time. You can pretend to listen for one conversation. You cannot fake remembering details weeks later. Watch also for how they use this information. Do they reference your interests when suggesting things? I saw this thing and immediately thought of you. Do they ask follow-up questions on things you mentioned ages ago? These are not random acts of thoughtfulness. This is someone who has been paying attention because they genuinely cannot stop thinking about you. Signal 6. The validation game. This one taps into a deep psychological principle called reciprocity, and it's far more sophisticated than just giving compliments. When someone has feelings they're not ready to express directly, they often channel that energy into making you feel exceptionally good about yourself. And I don't mean obvious flattery. I mean the specific kind of validation that burrows in and sticks. They laugh at your jokes, even the ones that don't quite land. They defend your perspective in group discussions before you've even finished making your point. They notice the effort you put into small things and call it out specifically. That thing you said earlier, I keep thinking about it. Or, I don't know why, but I trust your opinion on this. What's happening here is that their subconscious is running a campaign. The goal is simple. Make you associate their presence with feeling good, feeling safe, feeling seen. Because if your nervous system learns that being around this person equals comfort and confidence, then half the battle is already won. There's something else happening too. They're constantly seeking your approval in return. Telling a story? They're watching your reaction. Sharing a new opinion? They check your face first. Making a joke? Your laughter is the only laughter they care about in the room. This creates a quiet feedback loop of mutual attentiveness that feels like a private frequency. Only the two of you can tune into. Signal 7. The beautiful malfunction. And now we arrive at the most counterintuitive signal of all. The one that confuses people the most. The one that makes people think someone doesn't like them, when it's actually the loudest signal that they do. Science has confirmed something that anyone who's ever had a crush understands intuitively. Intense attraction produces a physiological response almost identical to acute stress, elevated heart rate, cortisol spike, sweaty palms, and complete, humiliating, glorious cognitive disruption. So the person who is normally charming and articulate, they're stumbling over their words around you. The person who is usually smooth and confident, they knocked something over, forgot what they were saying mid-sentence, or laughed at entirely the wrong moment. The person who's always composed, they're suddenly a little red in the face. This is not a bad sign. This is the best sign. Their nervous system is overloaded by your presence. The anxiety of wanting to impress you is shorting out their normal functioning. And they hate it, which is exactly why it's real. But here's the flip side, and this is where it gets fascinating. Some people respond to the same overload in the opposite direction. Instead of collapsing, they expand. They get louder, more animated. They tell their best stories. They subtly position themselves as impressive, capable, interesting, becoming the most energetic version of themselves in the room. Here's how you tell if it's about you. Watch their eyes during the performance. Even when they're working the room, even when they're talking to everyone, are their eyes always drifting back to check your reaction? If you're the silent audience they're performing for, if your approval is the prize, the whole show is dedicated to you. Both the nervous malfunction and the peacock display come from the same place. A desperate, involuntary, beautiful need to matter to you. Putting it all together. So let's recap what you now know. Their feet and body compass toward you even when they're talking to someone else. Their eye contact is longer, deeper, and more searching than social norms require. They treat your time and attention as a priority. They engineer private moments just for the two of you. They remember details about you that most people would never store. They go out of their way to make you feel validated and good about yourself. And they either become gloriously flustered or dramatically impressive in your presence. One of these signals alone is interesting. 2 or 3 is suggestive. But 5, 6, or 7, that's not ambiguity. That's a confession. The final question isn't whether the signals are there. The final question is what you're going to do about them. Because here's the truth that no amount of psychological analysis can replace. If you recognize these patterns in someone, the only real next step is to test it. Invite them somewhere. Just the two of you, no group excuse, no shared errand. Make it clear and intentional. Watch what happens when you do. Their face in that moment, the flash of panic and excitement, the way their eyes change, the breath they take before they answer. That will tell you more than 1,000 signals ever could. The body doesn't lie, and now neither do you. Drop in the comments. Which of these 7 signals made you think of someone specific? Because sometimes the person you least expect is the one who's been shouting the loudest, in complete and total silence.